Welcome to Sidebar for our next episode. Joining me once again is my trusty sidekick, the undefeated man from Australia, Reverb. How are things
Yeah,
going?
that's me. I also don't know how I'm undefeated. Apparently, I'm good at the children's card game. Uh, some of it I would like to say is skill. Some of it is drawing drum on turn 6. So, what can you do?
Well, you just have to draw the right cards at the right time, and so long as there's no anomalies throwing the game into chaos, you should be fine.
But they only do that 25% of the time, all the time.
I'm sure we're going to have a lot of fun over the next few weeks, or not have a lot of fun over the next 2 weeks. But there'll definitely be a lot of discussions about it between now and the end of the season for sure. Um, Another person who has discussed them on a couple of the THL shows is Training Battle. How are you today?
Oh, I'm a little tired because someone forced me to go back to the mines and do challenges for him. Uh, Forced. I had no option. So yeah, I stayed up very late. It was very fun, but now I'm definitely super ready to give analytics.
Yes, not only do we have fun games on our mini segment in Sidebar, and we also have some trivia in Out of Your League, but we also have a few games going on in the hidden secret channels in the APM server. A lot of fun. Uh, I'm glad you're enjoying them. Hopefully, you enjoy our segment halfway through this show. We'll see what that is when we get to it. But we are going to kick things off as we always do with Trio Series. Trio Series is 5 weeks in. There is 1 week to go. Teams are jockeying for positions. There's a few teams just on the cusp with the potential of making playoffs. I think there's only two that are mathematically out of it, I think. But we can have a look at the table when we get there. What I would like to start off with, though, is our trios feature lineup for the week. And Reverb, if you could kick us off with this lineup and tell us a little bit about it.
I most certainly can. Our feature lineup this week comes from Cheesemongers United, who had a 3-0 win over their opponents this week. And their Moonbeam Druid was banned from this lineup. Moonbeam is, I don't want to say good deck, it's incredibly polarized. The things it beats, it massacres, and you basically do not lose those matchups. And then every other matchup, you could assemble any combination of cards in your hand, and you're probably going to lose. But obviously, I'm assuming Cheesemongers had the kind of read on what their opponent were bringing, which forced out the ban. And then the other decks, bit more interesting, not potentially the standard meta you might have seen of Control Warrior, Control Warlock. We've got our favorite, Cockrogue. But not only is it Cockrogue, it also has secrets and it also has Ignis. If you haven't noticed this expansion, Ignis is the sickest card ever, and if you can put it in a deck, you should. Uh, Big Bone Shaman. I mean, I didn't know that was a deck until I've seen this lineup. Uh, Big Shaman using the nerfed in quotation marks Thaddeus to really cheat out some cards. Not sure
I think this is
on.
an Alakir Bone Lord OTK.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
you you get to OTK people using Bone Lord. Um,
Yeah.
just I I've never seen this deck in my life. I I kind of want to play it, but I feel like that's a dark side I shouldn't join. And then everyone's favoritely nerf deck, Big Beast Hunter. Uh, I don't think they've added or changed anything. They just brought a nerf deck, as you do. Go crazy. If it works, it works. Gotta draw King Crush to summon it off the Faithful Companion now. Unlucky.
That's fine because what you do is you discover a copy of King Crush with your selective breeder. You have one in hand and one in your deck, and then the card is not nerfed.
You
I mean, you
see,
have to
I
draw one.
always,
You know, just...
I just drew the King Crush anyway all the time and then got really annoyed about it, but
No. You
I
just
guess that works.
leave it in deck. It's fine. It'll stay there. You've discovered a copy, and then you play your Faithful Companions for double King Crush. Of course, you're not going to play your breeder until after you've played your Lorthamar to make sure you get the buffed King Crush out of your deck. And you do that on
Yeah.
turn 8. You play that on turn 8 after your Lorthamar on 7, and then on turn 9, or you can do whatever you want on turn 9, because on turn 10, you're going to be playing Faithful Companions for double charge, double King Crush. No difference whatsoever. Absolutely not.
None.
Truly unreal.
Very unconditional.
Geranium, did you have anything you wanted to add about these 4 fine decks?
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty clearly an anti-control lineup, as hard as they can. The Secret Rogue is pretty similar to what it was last season, of just get some value from the secrets, try and shuffle back removal and other cards with the Ghastly Gravedigger to disrupt the control opponent, and then get value with Queen Ajara and Prison of Yogg-Saron. The Moonbeam Druid is only good versus control. The Big Bone Shaman, as you were talking about, was actually played on stream last season. Did not do so well there, but it does have an improvement over last season, which is the Golganeth alongside the Criminal lineup. Even if you don't end up finding the combo, with that, you're at least able to, I think it's, it's for, if you have Golganeth live on the board, because there's no Jazz base in this, I guess, then you're able to do 12 damage and heal for full, basically. So it's at least a little bit of a synergy. And then the Big Beast Hunter, still at least able to methodically settle the hand versus control.
Yeah, it's difficult to deal with because Big Beast Hunter does keep coming. It does have a few threats to deal with. So, 3-0 win. Very well done. They found the decks they were after and kept them in with a hunt this trio's season. We're going to switch over to our first trios match that we're going to be covering in full. And the first one we've got is the 2 teams that are up near the top of the table. The 1 Amalgam Band versus the W Gang. So we had one undefeated team going into the last round, which is the 1 Amalgam Band, up against last year's champs, the W Gang. Okay, Reverb, you can be the 1 Amalgam Band. You're on the left, your decks, and Geranium, your decks are across the top there. You can be the W Gang. Reverb, what can you tell me about your matchup spread here?
I lose half, I win the other half. It's a little grim, but it's also not grim. And the other thing is I'm not 100% on HS Replay's data. You are matched up into Naga Mage, which in theory, even though it says I win all of those, if Naga Mage Pilot is good, I have an awful feeling I do not win any of those. So it does look fairly rough for the 1 Amalgam Band, or my side here. The good note-ish is I feel like all of the decks I'm playing do have a little bit of high roll to them. I can high roll the Mech Rogue with a busted opening. I can high roll the Secret Hunter a little bit. It just kind of depends if something like the Control Warrior on my opponent's side opens decent itself and actually has the clears when they need it. So it's it's not the best, but it's not the worst.
Well, what are you banning here? Which of the two
Um,
red matchups are you banning? I don't think you're banning Mage or Shaman, right?
definitely not Shaman. Probably not Mage. The other way you beat Mage is you queue in and you pray they don't open Spylash. Um, it's tough between Mech and Control Warrior because I, f- I think I'd potentially go with the ban of Mech Rogue purely because it feels like versus Mech Rogue there would be some more games that are like out of my control because with all the decks I'm playing, they're quite aggressive, so it's harder to keep the Mech Rogue off the early minions without like really stacking off my own game plan. Like if I'm not sticking board and going face with Undead Priest, it could get pretty hard, especially if Mech Rogue just drops the Titan and then like tempos me off the board. So I think I would ban Mech Rogue.
Alrighty. Geranium, how do you like your spread here?
Yeah. So I mean, it's really just a question of will Naga Mage win one of the 40%. Um, Looking at the lineups for the one amalgam ban, they have not only brought decks that normally do well into Naga Mage, they have also teched them entirely against Naga Mage. For example, in Rage Warrior is playing the Speaker Stopper to make spells cost 2 more. Undead Priest has cut Amon Thul for more early game. So, like, yeah, the thing does say like 55% ish for those decks into Naga Mage, but Owl knows Naga Mage and knows how to beat Naga Mage, and yeah, has decided to tech his decks basically entirely to defeat that matchup. So because of that, um, I mean, it's really just a what is going to be the most consistent thing against me. And I think it might actually just be that in Rage Warrior. Um, I feel like the rogue is getting banned from my side, um, just because of how deep the reds are. Like in
Mm-hmm.
Rage Warrior, you're going to at least have a chance versus the warrior. Um, but yeah, I think the ban is either in Rage Warrior or the Mech Rogue there, just because of how consistently good the Mech Rogue is versus both the Naga Mage and the Nature Shaman. Um, yeah, definitely leaving up Secret Hunter and Undead Priest as they can just have some awkward early game draws, and if they miss their 1, 2, 3, well, that's the end of the game basically.
Yep. Alright, let's have a look. We've got um, Control Warrior ban, and we have a Mech Rogue ban. So pretty much what we're talking about. We had Mech Rogue as one of the two, and Control Warrior as one of the two to be banned. And we've pretty much already discussed how we think the match is going to go with different things. Clearly, we think Mech Rogue's probably going to get a win here, and then it's just a matter of if the other two can get a win. And like you said, it's Secret Hunter and Undead Priest. Can they curve out? Can they find the turn 6, turn 7? I've won the game before you can do something back, or maybe even earlier. So we'll have a look at how the match went. And so Undead Priest was led out, and it went down to Nature Shaman. So that was the 53% of there. Secret Hunter switched on to Secret Hunter, and the Mech Rogue came out. So down 2. Just have to get a reverse sweep over the Naga Mage, and Rage Warrior got the Naga Mage, which was the other deck you mentioned about banning. But then the Priest did not get the Naga Mage. Don't know what happened. Maybe didn't curve out. Naga Mage might have popped off on 5 or 4. But yeah, Undead Priest didn't quite get there, and the W gang were able to register a victory and take themselves to 4-1 and give the One Amalgam Band their first loss of the season. Do we think it sort of went how we thought there with the matchups there?
In my opinion, yeah, just because the One Amalgam Band was so heavily reliant on sort of the one matchup, and if you flip a coin, a weighted coin in this case, 40% every single time, eventually you're going to lose that flip. And just so happened it was about 50-50 here. How it
Yeah, I feel like the the result is very telling after the first game. The fact that the Nature Shaman got through so early is like almost heartbreaking. Like that, like other than attempting to basically sweep Naga Mage, you also would have very much wanted to pick up 1 or 2 wins on the Nature Shaman if you could, and for it to just win the first one against Undead Priest, like pain. So yeah, I never like trying to target Naga Mage because that deck can just high roll you out of winning anyway. So
Yeah. Being able to get that win first up with Nature Shaman was pretty big. When they can then back that up with the Mech Rogue, you might, if you have like one shot at Naga Mage, you might get it. If you have two, you might get it. Giving Naga Mage 3 games to try and get a win. It's a really good deck with good pilots. So yep, bit unlucky, but W Gang got the win, and both of these teams will be playing in playoffs, which should be starting after the next round, which is a double round. We've got 2 weeks because of the mini set. So
mini set.
all right, we'll move on to trios match number 2. Reverb, you can be down the left again. Dranium, you can go across the top again. So Reverb, you are the gang gets top decked, and Dranium, you are easy. All right, Reverb. Tell me about your lineup and what you're expecting the band to be here.
I'll tell you something about my lineup. It's wrong. This is a Ron Mexico is on this team, and there's no Hunter. What?
Or Demon Hunter.
There's 3 control decks: Control Priest, Warlock, and Warrior, and no Arcane Hunter. Almost sad. I I actually almost brought this in Pro the other week. The trio of control decks. They're pretty good. Ron Mexico might not be on the Hunter, but he is on the good stuff. Those 3 decks are really good, and weirdly enough, Control Priest is good into Control Warlock and Warrior, and also good into other stuff. Just how it works. And kind of thankfully for us, our opponent has brought not a super fast aggro kind of absolutely massacre lineup. That actually probably be better off if they brought like combo stuff into the control. So the matchups aren't too bad. They were probably some of the better ones you're gonna get. Just the imp that really beats you. So fairly good.
All right, what's your band? Probably the Imp Warlock. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, ban is probably the imp. That's really the only thing that looks like it wants to threaten. And I'm not looking at the exact list. It says fatigue imp on the graphic, so I'm assuming it's not running curses. If it's curses, it's 100% ban. Fatigue imp probably isn't much better because they can just refill like 30 times through all your clears because of the conductor lady. So it's probably an imp ban any day of the week, but maybe one of the other lists is super teched. But yeah, I would ban imp.
All right,
There
Jonian.
there are no curses. So
Yeah.
Okay.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty unfortunate for my side. Um, Ended up bringing Frost, Death Knight, and Aggro Priest, both of which are basically burn decks. You know, try to get onto board a little bit early and then close it out with over the top damage. And the gang gets top decked has brought a lot of life gain. Um, so yeah, in this case, both the Control Warrior and the Control Warlock, not only do they have a really good matchup of Control Warrior as the armor gain to block the burn from the Undead Priest, Control Warlock has a lot of different clears and ways to basically completely ruin the Paladin's day. But in addition to that, it's just sort of um, as I said, the healing to sort of get back from any amount of burn game plan. One of those two is definitely the ban, and I think in my experience from previous metas, the Control Priest into Frost Death Knight matchup is more even. Um, However, this Control Priest is of course bringing Holy Nova, and it's also bringing the Fan Club. So there is some heal that previous metas of Control Priest did not have. So yeah, I mean, I'm definitely leaving up Control Priest, hoping that it's more like a 55% matchup rather than a 60. And then yeah, that Rainbow Mage has to give up some pretty juicy wins. I guess I'll just ban the Control Warlock. Not really pressed either way.
Alrighty, so we've got a ban for the Imp Warlock, and we have a ban for the Control Priest.
What? Oh,
Alright, how do we think the games are going to play out here?
I got my ban right.
I'm getting swept.
Three. It's gonna be really funny if we think the gang gets top deck 3-0s easy, and then easy 3-0s them.
I don't know. Maybe it's not a 3-0. I mean, like, whatever wins I get are going to be over Rainbow Mage, is my prediction.
There's some matchups that are closest enough that I can see easy sneaking at minimum 1 through. I'd like to think they definitely snuck 1 through. However, it would be very funny if they somehow snuck through 3 wins. So
Alright, predictions I'm hearing is about a 3-0 or a 3-1, probably not a 3-2, and KW on the win. So let's have a look and see how the match went. Oh, well, there we go.
no
It was a
way.
3-2,
Ooh.
and not that one. Which one is that? It's that one.
It's not a kick W. I
There we
still
go.
lost. Whew.
There we go. Found the right button. Okay, yeah. So Control Warlock led out. It's probably what I would have
Oh,
led as well. Got the win over the Priest. Then Rainbow Mage lost to the Paladin. Then Rainbow Mage lost to the Priest. Then Rainbow Mage won against Frost Death Knight, which Control Warrior also got the win over to finish it. So, as we said, Rainbow Mage, if there was going to be any wins for easy, it was going to be over the Rainbow Mage, and they managed to get 2 of the decks through against the Rainbow Mage, but not quite the Frost Death Knight. So that was the struggle deck there.
That's scary. I personally would have queued Control Warrior second and gone up 2-0, I would like to think, but that's very scary.
Or maybe at least
It doesn't matter.
after the second game, but yeah. But yeah, Frost Death Knight.
Because if you
Yeah,
sorry.
you were saying.
Okay, well, yeah, if you go up 2-0, or if you start off with losing with one of the decks, I mean, the match record does not matter in trios. It just matters whether you won the match or lost. So
that
just
is true.
play your
That
matches.
is true, yeah. Okay, so from here, we're going to move and have a look at the table, and we'll discuss that a little bit because I've only got 1 week to go. So, Geranium, can you take us through the trio standings following round 5?
Yes. So going through the top 8, who are all in playoff contention right now. At the top, we still have the One Owl Malcolm Band at 4-1. Swagoy also sticking with 4-1. The W Gang is also joining them at 4-1. The Big Three is next, has 3-2. Another Sussy Union had a bye, so they are at 2-2. The Gang Gets Top Decked, as we just covered, is at 3-2. Brown Alumni Esports also at 3-2. Hog Speed Sliders has a bye this round, I think is what it's saying.
That's correct.
And a record of 2-3. Then we have teams that can maybe slide in over the Pog Speed Sliders since they're getting that bye. Easy with a 1-3 and a bye. Amberflight Gaming with a 2-3. Good Question with a 1-3 and a bye. Cheesemonger United with 1-3 and a bye. And then the Chewy's Scorpid Adepts. Unfortunately, is at 0-4. Cannot make that 3-3 mark that it looks like Pogspeed Sliders is sort of sitting at. So it's really just about can they clear that win-loss sum, I think is what, or I guess the net win sum is what's going on. So yeah, if they get to win their match, they'll be tied on net wins, and then it will just come down to win-loss sum, which I think a lot of these teams are going to pass Pogspeed Sliders.
Yeah, so Pogspeed Sliders, that's my team. There are the teams that cannot make it is Chewy, Scorpid Adepts, definitely can't make it on their record. Cheesemongers United are playing Amberflight Gaming. I don't think before we had the bye applied to us this week, we were sitting ahead of them. So I think if Cheesemongers United beat Amberflight Gaming, I don't think they'll get there on the tiebreakers. But Pogspeed Sliders need Cheesemongers United to beat Amberflight Gaming because Amberflight Gaming will be ahead of Pogspeed Sliders. And then the other game is between Easy and Good Question. No, hang on. No, Good Question. Sorry, Good Question play Chewies, Scorpid Adepts. So again, Pogspeed Sliders need Chewies, Scorpid Adepts to beat Good Question because Good Question will move ahead of Pogspeed Sliders if they get the win. Then the final match that affects teams making it is between Brown Alumni Esports and Easy. Again, if Easy get the win over Brown Alumni Esports, they can move ahead of Pogspeed Sliders. If Brown win, then Easy don't make it. So all of Easy, Amberflight Gaming, and Good Question have matches that can move them ahead of Pogspeed Sliders. But if Pogspeed Sliders need all 3 to lose.
Yeah, I think it also depends on Cheesemongers United's past opponents, because if enough of those win, that might inch them over that win-loss sum line, because they just need to basically gain. Their opponents need to win 3 times.
Yeah, that's
more
true.
than the Pogspeed Sliders.
Yeah, the win-loss summary can still be adjusted, I guess. I think they've probably got a lot of the same opponents with a lot of the teams at the bottom. They kept facing the teams at the bottom, but yeah, it's possible that Cheesemongers could get there if they win. Good Question lose, Amberflight Gaming lose, Easy lose. It would be down to that tiebreaker between Pogspeed Sliders and Cheesemongers United. But yeah, at this stage, it's just the Chewy Scorpid Adepts that cannot make playoffs, but they can have a big impact on playoffs by taking the win, keeping other teams in with a chance. All the teams from from the gang gets top decked and up are pretty much guaranteed with their win loss record and their current record. I think Brown with their first tiebreaker there, the win loss summary. If enough other teams, if they lose and enough other teams get to 3-3, they might drop out. So they're probably the two teams that could drop out is Brown and Pog Speed Sliders. Reverb, did you have anything you wanted to add? Any?
No, I think you had much better insight there, knowing all the matchups than I ever would have.
Yeah, I looked at it just to see, like, because we knew we went to Game 5 last week. We lost, we're up 2-0 against Brown and couldn't get the Hunter through. We lost 3 straight games on Hunter, so we knew after that we were probably getting the bye because all the other teams down near the bottom of the table had already had one. So we did a bit of math and looked at what the possibilities were. But yeah, we're going to need every matchup to go our way pretty much. It's been a lot of fun. I didn't play trios last season, so yeah, it's been fun being in call with the rest of the team. But would have been nice not to start the season 0-2, especially when there's only 6 weeks. But best of luck to all teams this week. With the next fortnight with their final trios regular season match, and for all those that will be playing in playoffs, looking forward to seeing and commenting on how those matches go. All right, we're going to move to our in between segment and backed by popular demand, it's Name the Card. I know, Draining, you did so much fun playing this last week. You were able to guess all of them quite easily. Not really, but I know Reverb's good at Name the Card, so...
I'm horrified.
It's okay. I'll help Reverb get it.
Oh, I didn't know we were doing teams.
I did say last week that next time I do this, I'll try and bring minions. I didn't say that I would bring minions. I said I would try and bring minions, but we'll just have to see what is there.
Look, Masher, I can't remember card names. I'm not going to remember that you promised minions. Just destroy me.
Tossed a virtual coin. Geranium, you can lead off. It doesn't really matter, does it? Because you both get to take a guess at some point. So I'll just reveal a square, and you'll know exactly what it is.
I know exactly what that is.
Yeah, that is Alakir the Windlord.
Oh, there. Yeah. No, it's not Alakir the Windlord.
Oh, crap.
I actually think I know what that is.
Well, you can say
I
it.
guess.
Is that Doom?
Yeah, it is Doom. Straight off the bat.
Oh, okay. You did not pronounce the exclamation mark?
Shouldn't have
Doom with an exclamation mark. The only reason I know this, back in Mean Streets when I started, people unironically played this garbage board clear in Reno Warlock.
Mm-hmm. I thought with the mini set coming up, I had to put this card in there.
You gotta put Young in there somewhere.
All right, we've got the first one. Let's cover this back up. I can switch cards. That was a lot quicker than I was expecting. I should have kept the tentacles hidden, but the tentacles are everywhere.
That's quicker than I was expecting.
All right, we covered it up. We will get rid of Doom, and we will go with this one. Let's have a look. Probably reveal one that'll give it away straight away. Yeah, that'll do it.
Oh, that is Kolak.
It is Kolak on one square.
Yep. Boom, baby. Know my turtle cards.
Is it you or is it someone else that... No, someone's called Turtle. THL.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's Turtle. So yep, there's Kolak. I did say
What?
minions. I did say minions. There's a minion. 2 minions
I
actually.
swear I've had an in-depth conversation with Turtle in DMs about like the worst paladin deck you've ever heard of, and us trying to make it not as bad as it was. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure that
Monkey
was Turtle.
Paladin.
Yes,
Yeah,
Monkey
Yeah, he's the one
Paladin.
who made
That's
Monkey
it.
Paladin.
It would be Turtle. Nope. Oh, that was
Monkey Paladin
that's a,
being the Elise Star Seeker. Play Golden Monkey Paladin. Terrible.
That's a good deck.
Oh, we're
Oh,
going on the next one? Okay.
I'm not smart enough for this. It's meant to be my guess. I'm not gonna get this. This is a
I don't think
card
it's anyone's
from.
guess. We just shout out.
you just shout out when you think you know it.
Well, this is a card from like this set. I don't know the names of cards. Nah,
Yeah,
this is rude.
this is really a card from this set.
It do look like a card from this set. Actually, maybe it's a little festival of music-y. Hang on,
Actually,
show
you
that.
could probably reveal the whole thing before I take a guess.
I'm
I
gonna
can
take a guess that
hint
this
down the
is a shaman card.
Yeah, this is the one where you deal 15 damage. But I have no clue what the name is, so I don't care.
There's a card in shaman that deals 15 damage.
It's not 15 damage. It's not Volcano. It's the one that is new, and it.
There's a new volcano. That looks like
Yeah,
volcano.
new
He looks like
Volcano.
he was throwing his ass into a volcano.
You,
It's
you
new
pretty much
Volcano.
know
Costs
the card.
5 mana.
Is anybody else in?
Only hits enemy minions.
Is there
There's a
anybody?
card called what, like Molten Creek, Molten Fire,
No.
Molten Lava, Troll Die by Fire, Trial by Fire. Is it called Trial by Fire?
Anybody watching that knows what
Trial
the
by
name of
Fire
this
is the
card
warrior
is?
card.
Oh, there's a card called Trial by Fire.
Yeah.
What is this called?
It's called "Don't Stand in the Fire."
Oh,
Yeah.
I've never heard of this.
Okay, that's all right. I needed to get one back after the last two, and we will have
Can't even help reverb.
no.
It came
We
out
do
in
have
Alterac Valley. I was never getting it.
yeah. You played this in a lot of decks.
I did not play that ever. Did I? Maybe I did.
Probably not.
I've
All right,
played a lot of Shaman.
we've got one last one. So we'll see how that one goes. Let's have a look. What do we got?
I should know what this is.
Okay, then
That's
send it.
clearly a weapon handle. This
Okay,
is.
then send it.
Oh, I don't know what this is called. I think I've run this card every other day of my life.
Okay, then send it.
Send it what?
Guess something.
Actually, never mind. I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought this was the Warrior Hammer for a second, and now I don't know anymore.
No, I thought maybe it was the Paladin Warhammer. You know, like Light's Justice, but the weird spider background is making me second guess. What the heck?
It's not even a hammer, is it? Is this?
So we'll get it soon. We'll get it soon.
Wait.
When I do this.
Is
No way.
this?
I'm not getting it.
Is it Ashbringer?
It's Ashbringer. There we go.
Oh, it's a token. I hate you.
Many a WoW player has wielded the
I've-
Ashbringer.
I've never played WoW. You just started revealing more of a sword, and I was like, wait, is it the thing that Tyrion gives you?
Yes. Oh yeah, Tyrion probably carries.
Yeah,
Ashbringer,
no, this is a.
with the paladin
This is
hand.
purely
there.
a standard experience of.
I really
purely a
miss when
standard experience.
Tyrion
Of
was-
You get Tyrion off of the Ignis weapon, and then it replaces your Ignis weapon with this.
Hell yeah. You know what my favorite Tyrion meta moment was? When in Ungoro, we all unanimously agreed to play Paladin and to, no matter what the Paladin deck was, run 2 copies of that turtle that discovers a taunt, because you would just discover Tyrion and you'd just play Tyrion, and it was fun. And sometimes you discovered the cooler guy, the one that said Ungoro belongs to the Titans and made everything a 3/3. Sometimes you'd pick him instead. You just got to pick whichever one you wanted. It was a good time. And that was actually before the Discover nerfs, so sometimes the turtle discovered the turtle.
Oh yeah, we can discover your own thing. Yeah.
Those were good days.
If you show
Alexstrasza
me
has
Sunkeeper
ruined
Karam, I will
everything
know
for
that
me.
one's name.
All right.
Taram, see?
Hope everybody enjoyed our mini segment, Stories with Reverb.
Stories on grander days of Paladin.
Yeah, well, it's in a spot at the moment. Problem with Paladin is usually it's either really good that it's like needs a nerf, or it's a bit average. But hey, Outlaws in the chat. All right, switching on to Wild now. Oddlaws here just in time. Wild and Outback. We always start off Wild with our Player of the Week. So, who have I got down to tell me about Wild Player of the Week? I think it's Reverb. Who is Player of the Week for this round?
Our player of the week is, I don't know how to pronounce this without saying it wrong. I've got 2 angles. I can either say Egades or Agades, like maybe it's Agades, like Hades, but it's a gay. Shout out Ridiculous Hat, everyone play Hades. I'm gonna say their name is Agades. Is I correct?
I have no idea. So let's just read out the nomination.
Fantastic. In a very close and intense match that concluded with a 15-11 score, the Worgen Greasers took it over the wild THL Fanatics. One of the Worgen Greaser players who played a crucial role in this victory is Agades, going in with extra large Reno Mage, which includes the 3 Alexstrasas, which is importantly one of the cards that is the reason the Discover nerf happened from earlier. Great story, callback. Agades took the best of their opponent's aggressive lineup. Congratulations, Agades.
Congratulations on Player of the Week for round 4. Moving along to the next part of the show, keeping it moving, keeping it on track. Dranium, can you take us through our feature lineup for round 4, which is not Sinferno, it is not Sick Lad, it is one of my team mates, it is Maxi. Maxi brought some interesting decks, and Dranium, you're going to tell us all about these and what they do and how interesting they are.
Yeah, it's Maxi. This is it is pretty regular to see Maxi with a moving fast deck, like as we can see the Frog Shaman, like as we can see sort of this draw your whole deck Demon Hunter. However, this Demon Hunter is a little bit more special than the Quest Demon Hunters we see a couple weeks ago, because now it has Street Trickster to increase the spell damage. I think it's by 2 instead of by +1. In addition, it's running Il'gynoth. So Il'gynoth as the game ender instead of playing a bunch of large minions. So you actually sort of get to have control over the end of the game instead of allowing your opponent to be control and like clear your board and stuff like that. So this is if you can actually get the whole combo to go off, on turn 4 or turn 5, then that is going to be better than the original form of the Quest Demon. Quest Shaman, of course, it's pretty similar to just how it was before. The Warlock in this case is the scourge of the meta. It is the disco lock with the new Chamber of Visitus or whatever it is. Maybe it's Chamber of Igates, I'm not sure. But that card will allow you to draw through the entire deck very quickly while also building your Tiny Knight of Evil up. And then finally, it is Highlander Mage. Highlander Mage just trying to stall the game out. Use Flame Leviathan as its buff form to, I think it now doesn't damage mechs, but it's pretty similar. I don't remember what the change to Flame Leviathan is. It's a terrible card, but it's in this deck. So, yeah. I mean, this is the first two decks. The Quest decks are very classic Maxi.
I did watch this. It was played on stream. Maxi streamed it, and the Quest Demon Hunter won by playing. There was a double. What's the 4-mana minion where you can't play either a spell or a minion? The 4-mana 2/6 where you choose what your opponent can play. What's that called?
Blade Master Akami.
Yeah, Akani. So there was an Akani on the board, and then it was copied. So there was 2 copies of it on the board. But then Maxi drew, or maybe it was copied and then replayed. So it must have been against Highlander Priest or something. Maxi played Consume Magic to silence one of them, and then procced the other one with a 0-cost Crimson Sigil Runner, and then got the lethal with the Il'gynoth combo. So played around it with Consume Magic and the Imp. On the Highlander Mage game, Mordresh was played on curve and did a lot of damage. And I don't think I saw the first game, but I think, the Warlock was banned. I missed the Frog Shaman. It won game 1, I think. And then game 2 was a loss on the Demon Hunter. But yeah, interesting decks. There's been a lot of same kind of decks brought in Wild across the board pretty much this season. There's been a few outliers, people playing different things and trying different things. Maxi brings his own stuff. He doesn't generally conform to what everyone else brings, and yeah, these decks are definitely interesting. If you want to bring them this week, you're probably not going to pilot them as well as Maxi does, but feel free to bring them and see how they go. Reverb, this is what you would bring if you were playing THL in Wild this week?
I would actually probably bring Quest Rogue because I swear that's the only deck I played in last month. But I do like the look of literally every deck here because I've played Quest Demon Hunter before. That deck is fun. I wish there were brutes in it, but maybe you don't need brutes because 4-mana Il'gynoth is busted. I would play something like Quest Shaman because I think Golgoneth is the coolest Titan in the game and makes Shaman cooler than every other class because that card is just fun. Disco is disco. And then I don't know why Flame Leviathan is in that deck either. I just don't understand what purpose Flame Leviathan is serving. But other than that, the mage list doesn't look awful either. I didn't realize Evocation was back to being 1 mana. I still thought it was 2 mana.
Yeah, they did fix up a few cards, so deals 2
like...
AoE. Oh, there you go. Flame Leviathan deals 2 AoE on draw.
But
when drawn,
it always did that. They buffed, like no one ran it before. They just buffed it so that it doesn't damage mechs, and that it has rush. I guess if you ever want to play a 7-mana rush,
I guess it's another stall. Like you're trying to target the board decks, so you've already got the Inquisitive Creation in there. You got a Fire Sale. You got Reckless Apprentice with the
Inquisitor is a good card.
buff.
even though it does AoE, I don't really like it because it's like you have to draw it. Like, I don't know. I like having the card in my hand and then I play it and then it does what I want it to. I with things like Demon Hunter with all their cards that like proc on draw and stuff. That one I can't. Those decks I don't mind as much that the things are procking on draw because it's like I planned for that. But I don't know. What would be funny is if there was like a mech, or you know the series of skins they released that are like all mechs. The like when they did the thingy and they gave everyone like a mech kind of skin.
Mm-hmm.
If you played that skin, Flame Leviathan didn't damage your portrait.
if your portrait was
Oh,
the skin.
Yeah, if your portrait was the mech Jaina.
Maybe they'd do that as like an anomalies thing, like depending on what your hero portrait is, you have different something different happens for you in the game. They go.
They should have made an anomaly that would have been really awful, but it would be an anomaly that is at the start of your game, your hero becomes a mech and can have mechs magnetized to it.
hmm.
Magnetized to your portrait.
Yeah,
Yes, that's really busted.
you just play mech
Uh,
rogue and you just like give yourself the most attack possible.
Interesting.
I
Or
I will say
actually,
for the you are your hero portrait type. I really wish people would just roll up with like Murloc Jaina or Morgul the Oracle and then just get hungry crabbed.
hell yeah.
Well, you've got that.
What
There's
a
that card that's in Wild, which is was it EMP Operative Destroy a Mech, and there's an
Yeah.
older card which is Destroy a Mech, like a really old card. Couldn't tell you what it is, but I know that was a Destroy a Mech card, like in one of the first sets.
What
But
if, what's his name? Beastmaster, that really bad neutral 6 mana guy that destroys a beast, worked on any Tauren skin.
Mm.
all right, moving on from the degenerate conversations we're having, the what ifs. We're going to have a look at our wild match this week, which was a top of the table clash between F2L Viridian and my APM team. And Reverb, can you tell us about this match?
I most certainly can. It was a moderately close one. It was just like our scoreline for the player of the week. It was also 15-11. We have Neji Boston filling in, who for someone that was obviously the 1 seed, taking it 2-3 over. Oh no, he didn't take it 2-3. He lost 2-3.
He was filling in
Just
for Mortal Wombat.
for
Yeah,
Mortal
he
Wombat.
took it
So
already.
he took the L. The L in F2L is Neji's. 2-3 to Stinzy. Our Lord and Savior Flame Leviathan Maxibon beat Marty B 3-1. Robobson found himself swept clean by KVLT in the 3rd seed matchup. Lasagna won with his all aggro lineup as he normally brings, 3-1 against MGD Squirrel, and Memnarch won 3-2 over Slight. So fairly close, and not to make anyone feel bad, but Robobson getting swept might have been the blowout here. So other than that, it was like that's literally like the breaker. There's a 3-2 and a 3-1 either way, and then it's just that middle match where unfortunately Robobson could not find a game.
Yeah, I think Rebob started off his match first. We got Stinsy played second, so that sort of got it back to 6-4 to F2L. And then yeah, the bottom Maxi played last, so we were down, sort of gone after the fourth match. Slight's match could have gone either way. He had I think on Tony Druid. I think it was the Tony Druid that didn't get through. He had lethal like next turn every single time that he got um, every single time his opponent killed him. And yeah, I think that's what it was. The matches that Tony Druid played, he the opponent had lethal, found lethal. So, but yeah, so it was close match. Both these teams are looking good at the top of the table, and should expect to make playoffs at this stage. Reverb, did you want to? Oh, no, Geranium, can you take us through the table and tell us what's going on with 3 rounds still to go?
Yes, of course. Well, the Green Conference, the only conference, is sitting with F2L Viridian at the top with a nice 69 points. However, this is their bye week, so this is a chance for some of those other teams that have not or have already had their bye week to catch up and pass them. A Plastered Monkey is the current top APM team on points, sitting at 65. However, Avoid Punitive Measures has more points per week than them. So Avoid Punitive Measures has had their bye and is currently set to maybe be sort of second overall in the conference. However, top 4 make playoffs, so that sort of distinction doesn't matter that much. While the THL Fanatics is sitting with 48 points. The Sleepyhead Shakers is sitting with 40 points, but higher points per week than WTF. Worgen Greasers is at 39 points, also with higher points per week. And then the World Shakers are unfortunately sitting at the bottom spot, 31 points, and the lowest points per week. So once again, the top 4 teams will make it. I think that once everyone here has a very good shot of getting into that 4th spot at least. The top 3 teams look to be pulling away though.
Yeah, with every team having at least 1 win, every team having at least 1 loss. Those 1 and 2 teams, if they win this week, they go to 2 and 2, and they're looking in a good spot. If you're 1 and 3, with only 6 matches that you're going to be playing, you're on must win, a must win scenario, and that's where even though WTF are sitting in the middle of the table, the fact that they're sitting at 1-3, makes it a little bit more difficult. They don't have as much time to make sure that they can get to that 3-win, which is possibly a cutoff there. The 3 wins. Reverb.
I will add that
Oh,
WTF's win is over, I think, a Plastered Monkey. So they
yeah,
have a
that
win
was
over one of the top teams, meaning that they still have some matches versus the lower seeded teams. So they have a good shot.
yeah, and it was a 23-point week as well. So if they do get to the 3-3 record, those points that they picked up in that match could come in handy. Being with a 1-3 record being 12 points per week, it's not that bad. Could easily go up to like a 15-point per week with a couple of wins. Did you have anything you wanted to add here, Reverb?
No, you guys covered what I was going to say. Looks like the top 3 teams are fairly away going to be in the top 4, but even World Shakers on the lowest points can definitely get the 4th spot if they start getting a good run now. So looks like it's going to be a tight race, and happy to be following it for the last few weeks that are in the season.
Yes, I'm very much looking forward to seeing how Wild goes. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of stories with anomalies coming in, like the Tony Druid player that shuffles a card back into their deck after they play a card. I'm sure that's going to go down well. Or the Even Shaman player that after on their first turn discovers a new hero power. I'm sure there are going to be some shenanigans and some stories. But it's only 1 in 4, yeah.
In the second week.
In the second week.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Moving along. We are back to the main page. Back to the main page, not the exit. Not yet. Yeah, just wanted to finish the show. talking about anomalies. So we've got the mini set coming in this week. I don't know if you want to sort of provide some comment on how strong you might think the cards are going to be for standard, and wild probably going to be less impactful, but yeah, just give me an idea of how well you think the cards are going to go. If it's going to be a lot played, or if you think it's going to be low impact, and maybe tell me what is your favorite anomaly, the one that you would like to play
Oh,
with the most once the mini set drops. Reverb, do you want to lead us off?
What if I said no?
Well, you could go with the all gold one.
The
yeah.
old
Hey,
gold,
wait, don't steal
The
my
the
answer.
all gold one
all
is
golden.
the only anomaly I ever want to see. I I am a bit of a, I don't know if stickler's the right word, but that's the one I'm gonna use. I used to play a lot of Smash Bros, not competitive or anything, but I used to play hazards always off. Okay, you do not play with interruptions. Not on a competitive level. If you are 1v1ing someone, there is not to be any outside rando kind of factors. This breaks that rule, and I'm not thrilled about it. Um, in terms of cards, I think for standard, scarily enough, the best set for a class is warrior. The 4 mana forge thing that like gives you armor when you forge it, but normally just casts an AoEs based on your armor. It doesn't use your armor like Reckless Flurry, whatever it was, did back when that came out.
Mm-hmm.
It just does AoE based on your armor. That card is actually really, really good and might push Control Warrior like over the edge. It also gives you another really good forge target for Ignis. I think people were trying to run Mech Gnome in Warrior initially just to give it another forge target. But two really good like board control tools that are both forge targets in an Ignis deck, like, and even some like the minion with rush isn't bad either, and the 2 mana like copy or just become something that's like damaged, nuts. Like the set for warrior is actually scary good.
Dradian.
Yeah, I talked about it a little bit last week, where I mean, I like being able to know what's going on going in. So most of these anomalies are very chaotic, very game changing. The anomaly that I most like, if your eyes betray you, is what Reverb wants. I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't. Severed Souls. Both heroes start with +5 health.
I don't
So,
even like that one.
I mean, I like it because I am a
Control
control
priest.
player. Yeah, exactly. So if these stinky burn decks can just stay off my property while I farm some hero powers, then I will be happy. Um, but yeah, a lot of these, like I said, are very game changing. So they will be very fun for the general populace, Hearthstone, and maybe for the general populace of THL. Sorry that the talking heads here have decried them, have not liked them as much. But yeah, I do hope that they are a slam dunk on ladder at least. As for the general cards in the expansion, um, after seeing a lot more of these get revealed, I think that possibly the Shadow Priest legendary could be very strong. That one just deals a lot of extra damage, generates a lot of extra cards. However, the card that I'm most looking forward to is that Yogg Saron Unleashed, where, if I'm not playing Control, I'm probably going to play maybe Miracle Rogue and just play 20 spells in one turn and then play Yogg Saron Unleashed and fill my hand with one chaotic tendrils, or take control of an enemy minion, or board clear my opponent and then shadow step it and play it again and do the same. And it's going to be awesome. Yogg Saron Unleashed um, in some of those combo decks. not even as a finisher, but just as a fun piece.
For sure. Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing with the cards. I haven't looked at them too closely, to be honest. I had a pretty busy week this week, but I definitely did see that Yogg Unleashed card, and I will be spamming that on ladder. Don't you worry. The anomaly that I, at least on ladder, maybe not in THL, at least on ladder, I would like to get a few times is starting the game with 2 copies of Shifter Xeris in my hand and my opponent's hand. Just a little bit of random there. I can, just randomly turn into some other card and see what things happen there. As somebody who I didn't play Shifted Xeris, but I mean, I played a lot of Chameleos in my Highlander Priest decks, which turns into something in your opponent's hand. But yeah, Shifter Xeris doesn't impact anything else. I'm not really a fan of the cost reduction things. But that provides a little bit of random. So just things costing less and stuff. We've already got enough of that in the game. But
The one that reduces your starting hand by 1, can you imagine if you were on Druid and you open like a good Drum Druid like curve? Like you have Flower Child or whatever she is in your hand, but its cost gets reduced by 1. And then you get to play it earlier. And then you get to drum people earlier. That just, I would be so mad.
Thanks, Reaver. I can imagine it, but I don't want to.
Or if Undead Priest becomes good, all their cards get reduced by 1, and they already have 1-drops, they are going to start the game by emptying their hand. They will unironically play 3 1-drops and a 2-drop that got its cost reduced, and you will lose.
possibly, but then you could also roll the +5 and you're the control deck and they're on the aggro, so it all balances itself out.
Going back to your card there, Masher, or sorry, your anomaly. Like, you did say you liked Chameleos. Are you playing with Disguised Kathir?
No, I did see that leading. I put a post on Twitter leading into the season about that card. That it was one of my Chameleos was one of my favorite cards. So like the essence of Chameleos is sort of in those cards. So there was that, and then the other card that I mentioned in the same post was more of a comment on the the bloods from. So it's like the plagues. So your plague death knight. So all the plagues, shuffling those into your deck like you would with the bloods. Shuffling bloods, but yeah. So I'm not playing. I'm not playing that card. No.
This is so sad.
I want it to be better.
When you play a curse from your hand, if you were in Twist Reality, would that then shuffle the curse? I don't like that.
Yeah, I think the absolute most cursed one is that Twist Reality. Just like either A, you are playing Warlock and you play Infinite Symphony of Sins, or B, you are playing any other deck and you get like, oh, dead draw number 4, where I draw my 1-drop on turn 7. Or, it's just or you're like priest versus priest and you're going to fatigue, but you can't fatigue. That's fun.
Yeah, you can never fatigue.
Yeah, well, I think we'll see how the next week goes. I don't think many people will be playing their THL matches in the first week. I think they'll be waiting until after Tuesday next week to play their matches. So we'll see how people have gone on ladder. I'm looking forward to talking a bit more about anomalies and how they have felt on ladder over the next week. Sort of getting that feedback on how impactful they are in matches. just some housekeeping as we finish the show. It is a mini set coming out in a few hours, I believe, not too far away. So it is double week this week in THL. You still need to schedule your matches to the normal deadline, but you have 2 weeks to play your matches. If you want to have your matches streamed, reach out in the THL Discord stream match requests channel. Saku or Wild9 will gladly schedule your matches on stream. If you do want to play next weekend, I still think they'll be looking for matches if there are any. I'm not expecting too many. Most people probably scheduling for that second weekend, or at least in that second week. Don't forget to tune in for Hearth Center at 9 p.m. Eastern tonight. And then Out of Your League is changing times. We'll be having a show this week at 8 p.m. Eastern on Thursday. That's the evening time slot for all you people that do not like the mornings. And that is just about all I have. Reverb, did you have any last comments before we log off?
Warrior fun. I like that deck. Please don't counter Q me. I would like to go undefeated in pro.
Geranium.
Reese, fun. I like that deck. Please do not counter Q me in hero.
All right, that's all from us tonight. We'll see you again next week, probably. And enjoy your THL matches and enjoy the mini set. Good night.
So, Reader, have you been